The United States has a long history of welcoming immigrants into its lands. With Europeans being enlightened of its existence in the late 16th century, colonists began to come here for a multitude of reasons by the beginning of the 17th century. Eventually became known as the melting pot because of the many different cultures that came to pursue the American dream. Today though, immigration is one of the most politically contentious topics. Not because we don't want immigrants, rather it focuses on how to deal with the legality of some of the arrivals. But what is the answer when they have been here their whole lives?
This morning, Secretary Napolitano announced new actions my administration will take to mend our nation's immigration policy, to make it more fair, more efficient, and more just, specifically for certain young people, sometimes called dreamers.
When President Obama first decided to sign this executive action, it was meant to take over an act called the DREAM Act, which was a path to citizenship for people like me that had been brought here as children. Getting DACA for me meant being able to go to school, having a well-paying job, and coming out of the shadows. Because I haven't always been a DACA recipient, living under DACA has changed for me. A couple of years ago, Trump came in and said he was terminating DACA. But one of the things that happened as a result was that the ability for us to travel outside the United States, for us as DACA, was terminated. Going to a funeral or going on a mission trip is not a possibility for me anymore. Going back to school, I really wanted to come to North Central because I didn't grow up Pentecostal. Coming here and going through the visit and ending my visit and going through the financial aid. And I remember there were 3 ladies there, and it was because of them that I ended up coming to North Central. But at the beginning, I remember them saying, "You have no federal aid, and there's nothing we can offer you."
Everyone should have access to education, regardless of who you are, where you come from, how much money you have, what neighborhood you live in, whatever it might be. For DACA and undocumented students, particularly, finances are a big part. Our DACA undocumented students aren't eligible for loans, aren't eligible for Pell Grant. If they're DREAM Act, then they can get the Minnesota State Grant, which is awesome. On top of that, North Central provides every student, and that includes our DACA and undocumented students, academic scholarship. And then most of our students are probably receiving a North Central grant as well. So at the beginning, we work with them on the finances and making sure that North Central can be a place that's affordable and is not going to impact opportunities that they have moving forward because they have finances that they can't take on.
The reasons why I'm here is because of people like Monica Moscow that used to work in financial aid will not give up on me. She found every single scholarship I could apply for. She sent me emails and she called me. And when a business scholarship came out, she called me and she was like, "You have to apply. There's no other thing. You need to do this." And so when I first came here, I encountered a lack of knowledge about DACA. And I began to realize that DACA defined who I was. It was really difficult because until this time, I had not fully internalized what it meant to be an immigrant. I was under the shadows. I wouldn't speak or say or do anything other than what I was qualified to do. And so coming to North Central made me aware of that and made me aware of the fact that people are not going to understand. There's going to be a lot more people that will make comments in my classes. And in life, I think it's been a really rude awakening. And out of 20 people, there's always going to be those 5 that will stand behind you.
To be an institution where students feel they belong, students from any background and variety that might be, a place where our Spanish-speaking students feel comfortable speaking Spanish in the hallway, creating a community where students feel they belong and feel they are accepted and feel that they can thrive, not taking on the culture of the community, but thrive in the culture that they bring to this community.
Being a faith-based college and a community, I think we really do honor the idea of everyone having a fair opportunity. What we found is if these young men and women who have gone through a system of higher learning and are interested in coming to our faith-based university, then we're willing to work with them.
So I came here when I was 14. My sister was 9, and we were supposed to come just for a year. We came here as tourists because we have family here. And so a multitude of things, financial struggles, farm wasn't given as much as it was supposed to be giving. Violence began to allow my parents to think outside the box. We were the last 2 of 5 kids, and my dad really wanted us to learn English. So they were like, I already have a job up here. And he said, if you come, we'll be here for a year or so. We'll get our feet settled once again, and then we'll go back. When we moved, I remember crying every single day and saying, this is not what I want. I hate the food. I hate. This is not where I want to be. 2 years went by, and then we made a family reunion. And Dad was like, we could either stay here and you finish high school here, which will be really good. So at that point, I decided I wanted to stay here. I still feel like I have no home. Home was Mexico when I was 14 years old. I have family there. Half of my life has been here. I have friends, I have an education, and all of that is attaching me to America. But I don't have a full citizenship. So that calls me back to what I'm the most at home. Where I'm the most at home, I've realized that it's not a place. It's where my ideals are represented and where I have a voice, where I'm seen and heard. I have asked this question to myself a lot of times because it has been such a hard dream to have. Why is it that I want to be here anyway? My whole family is back in Mexico. Do I really? This is difficult. This is not a thing that you could just give up, but I could. I'm in my last semester of my undergrad, and more times than ever, I have considered abandoning everything to go back, because I know that at least I will have people that fully understand who I am. And here you have to work for it. But part of me tells me that I've come this far. My parents, they moved when they were older. They had to make those decisions because they believed that I would have a better life here. And I did not tell you about all the horrific things that have happened in my hometown now. My brother was killed 9 years ago. And this is something that is happening in our home countries on a regular basis. Granted, I still have family that are safe, and I will most likely be safe, but I don't want, if I have any kids, to be surrounded by that. But then do I want them to be racist against? Because I have gotten that. The USA has become my potential home because of the people that care to hear about my story. And it changes every day. Today is this. Tomorrow could be different. The political aspect of it is so difficult. It's something that I have to digest every single day. But it affects me. It affects me a lot. I told you I just reapplied for my DACA. I'm graduating in 7 weeks. All my potential employees will look at my work permit and will see that it expires in July. I will probably not even get an interview. I really feel like home has become a platonic endeavor for me. I hope that one day I'm able to look at you in the eye and say, this is home.